you may be faced, if you're governor, with your first budget with a $10 billion reduction in revenues as it's estimated from where we are today. First question is, what are your thoughts about that? How will you approach that? If you've got $10 billion less, I think the budget they passed out this year was about $70 billion. Let's say you're looking at $60 billion to work with going forward.
Well, I think, again, job one is to make sure that the budget of Florida is meeting the needs of average Floridians, the taxpayer, the people that are playing by the rules, and not just the pay-to-play system where the spoils are going to the people that are writing the big checks. And the problem that we have, yes, we have a huge gap that we have to fill going forward, compounded by the oil problems and that impact on our economy. But over the last 10 years, we have shifted 30% of the funding for education from the state to local governments. We have put an incredible burden on local governments with unfunded mandates. We have made a bad tax system worse by riddling our tax code with exemptions and favors, $35 billion worth. So we've got to start by looking at all of those exemptions and say, let's get a commission and let's review all those exemptions, and the ones that are fair and reasonable and support our economy, we will keep in place. The ones that are have been tied to special interests and because somebody made a campaign contribution, there's a lot of money there that we need a fair share tax system. And right now, the middle class and the lower middle class are paying way too high of a proportion of taxes, and so the change in our priorities and our budget has to come with meaningful tax reform, with a fair share tax system where we really look at those exemptions. We're going to have to prioritize spending on education. We can't have the 49th or 47th lousiest education system, K-12 and higher education system in the country. We're going to have to prioritize spending on prisons. We've got one of the best prison programs in the country, but that's the most expensive social program we could possibly have. But by getting those dollars on the front end in early education and early health care intervention, the state of Michigan saved $1 billion by an investment 10 years ago in reforming their education and intervention services. I believe we can save billions of dollars also by moving services to local government from state government, like growth management, like permitting, like this whole top-down education where we give people more control at the local level. Yes, it's going to be tough. We're going to have a very difficult budget year or two. We've got to reprioritize. We've got to look at the tax code and the exemptions, and we've got to focus on the things that are going to create jobs for average Floridians.